Thanks for joining me today on another edition of Primetime Sports. I'm Nitin Nair. After Derek Leader's surprising exit from the women's soccer team in early February, the Lady Panthers will now be coached by Ed Joyce. Reporter Caleb Johnson gives us more on the man leading the pack.
After an offseason of uncertainty with the departure of a head coach, the women's soccer team now has a clear direction with the hiring of head coach Ed Joyce. Joyce returns to GSU after a brief 2-year stint with Campbell University.
Feels great. Obviously, the fact that I came back, I think, tells you a lot about what I think about Georgia State as an institution, and obviously I think the program has an awful lot of potential moving forward, and looking to build upon a great season last year.
Coach Joyce formerly worked with the men's soccer here at GSU, but I was curious to find out if he at any time involved himself with women's soccer.
Not directly. Obviously, I knew the staff before and kind of knew of some of the players. In my previous jobs, I worked at Ohio University with the women, so I've kind of had experience on both sides. But this is obviously a lot more direct involvement at the moment. I'm a big believer in the game doesn't really change. The game is the game, and coaching is coaching. It's about developing relationships and teaching.
When speaking with Coach to find any differences between working with men and women's soccer, Joyce thinks outside of simple gender stereotypes.
I think on the whole, getting a point across to a group of female players is a little easier. I think they're a bit more receptive to coaching, a bit more receptive to change. But I think you have challenges with both, and I think it's down to the individuals that make up the team.
The Panthers' 7 new recruits for this upcoming season had a decision to make when Joyce was hired whether to stay or go.
I spoke with all of them on the first day I got the job. I think it's important. Obviously they're in a position of limbo. So whereas they signed for one coach, and then when a new coach comes in, it's obviously a tough time for them. I went through 3 coaching changes myself as a player, so I've kind of been there. So I wanted to make sure they kind of felt at ease with me, and that their situation didn't really change.
Assistant coaches are also often in limbo when a head coach leaves, as some new head coaches prefer to clean house. Coach Joyce, however, has a different perspective.
Jonathan Brett will remain as the top assistant here. He put in 4 great years here as a second assistant under the previous staff. Loyalty is important to me, and I think he cares a lot about Georgia State and has earned the opportunity he's got.
Joyce saw his first action with the team last Friday. I was interested to know his initial thoughts on the team.
We're young. We probably had a great first half, and then in a true youthful fashion had an equally disappointing second half. But I think it's a lot of stuff to build upon. But we're looking at a situation where we lost, I want to say, 8 seniors. So a lot of these girls didn't really figure a whole lot in the fall, and are now having to take very pivotal roles for us. So it's going to be a nice learning process these last 2 games, and then in the fall we kind of start from fresh.
Coach Joyce unquestionably looks to be the right man for the job, to take the ingredients he's been given, cook it up, and make a new recipe for success. For Primetime Sports, I'm Caleb Johnson.
Thank you, Caleb. It's great to have Joyce back with Panther Nation. For those that have been keeping up with Primetime Sports Talk, you know that we do a segment called Game Balls. Isaiah Williams received the most game balls for the men's during the season. Reporter David Shealy is alongside Williams in the sports arena to get his thoughts on receiving this honor.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Deacon David Shealy here, and this basketball may look familiar. It's because it's from Primetime Sports Talk, where we always award a game ball to whoever the player of the game is, and this year it goes to Isaiah Williams right here. Isaiah, about 77% from the free throw line. You had a pretty good year this year. Of course, as a team, not really what you wanted overall. Can you give your opinion about this past season?
I feel like we struggled for most of the season, but we've been all getting back to work right now, getting ready for next season, make sure we get back to the tournament.
Okay, so for you personally, what were your goals this past season, and what are your goals going forward?
My only goal was to get in the tournament, and unfortunately we didn't get there.
Okay, so now we're going to transition a little bit here. So with this game ball, I'm going to go ahead and give this to you so you can hold that. You can't keep it, though, because we got to get somebody else to sign it. Madison Newby also won for the women's team, and we'll talk to her a little bit later. We got to go on a manhunt because we can't find her right now. But for you personally, receiving this ball, what does this mean for you?
It means a lot to me. appreciate y'all giving it to me.
Okay, man. We appreciate you balling out. Hopefully you keep it up. Watch out as we try to find Madison Newby. We're going to award this game ball to her. We're going to get Isaiah Williams to sign this with this marker here. Nathan, back to you.
Thanks, David. Now it's time for you to find Madison Newby to get her signature on that ball. Now on to something you might have never thought you would see on Primetime Sports, paintball. You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen, paintball. The GSU club paintball team has been making a splash. Primetime Sports reporter Rashad Milligan spent some time with the team to see what they're all about.
CBS Sports recently said Atlanta's best-kept secret was the GSU beach volleyball team. But I one-up you. How about the Georgia State Paintball Club? Yes, the club is headed to the NCPA National Championship in Orlando, Florida from April 15th to the 17th. The Panthers will be one of approximately 50 schools in attendance at the competition.
We got people from Texas, Wisconsin, Georgia Tech will be there, Virginia Tech, just a whole line of people. So we got some rivals for sure, so we'll see what happens.
Currently a graduate student at Georgia State, former club president and current club member Zachary Russell said the club was founded by former students.
So we started back in 2009 with previous tournament players. They saw their other college teams, so they went and formed a team.
According to the Georgia State Students Organization website, there are currently 425 clubs at the university, which include 23 sports clubs. Russell said he found out about the paintball club while surfing online for his options as an undergraduate student at Georgia State.
I saw that they had a paintball club, and I saw a guy, diving midair, and I was like, that looks cool. I was like, I'd probably be pretty good at that. I come out my first time, I get destroyed, but I like this. I kept coming back, and here I am now.
The club practices about a 50-minute drive away from the main Atlanta campus in Canton, Georgia. Although there are closer fields in Atlanta, Nitro Paintball field owner Mario McCresco aims for a more intimate experience at his location.
Before I did this, I was in a computer business. I hated every minute of it. I wanted to do something where I could actually see the smile on somebody's face because they enjoyed what they did or what they got or how they were treated. I like to know that when you leave here, you say, wow, we had a blast at Nitro.
McCresco also said Georgia State alum Gary Smith assisted him in hosting NCPA tournaments at Nitro in the past. As far as the upcoming national tournament goes, the Georgia State club will be playing for bragging rights as there's no cash prize or incentive for the winners. The highest the club has ever placed in the event was 4th in the 2011-2012 season, and last year the club placed 19th. Now, of course, Primetime has their fingers crossed for these guys in Orlando, Florida in a couple weeks for nationals. But as of right now, we're in Canton, Georgia at Nitro Park. For Primetime Sports, I'm Rashad Milligan. Back to you. Play ball.
Thanks, Rashad. I'm glad you weren't in the line of fire while you were out there. Now on to some things you might need to know. The baseball team completed its series sweep against Mercer, defeating them 10-6. The Panthers will host in-conference opponent UT Arlington in a 3-game series starting with a doubleheader on Saturday. The ladies of the softball team split their doubleheader against FURMAN, losing its first game 4-10, but bouncing back and winning its second game 4-0. The ladies will travel to Mobile, Alabama to take on South Alabama starting Saturday, April 2nd. The Lady Panthers of the golf team finished 9th in the John Kirk Intercollegiate Tournament this past weekend. The team will return to action on April 17th through the 19th for the Sun Belt Conference Championship in Miramar Beach, Florida. That's all I have for you today. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all the latest Georgia State sports news. Like us on Facebook at Primetime Sports and follow us on Twitter at Prime Sports with a Z. I'm Nathan Nair. Enjoy your week.